I try to see at least some of the good in every fragrance that's out there. I mean, at this point, if something's not for me, if I don't like something, I'll let you know, but I'll also say, it does this part really well or that part really well, and it'd be good for this person or these occasions, even if maybe I personally don't love it. But the fragrances I'm gonna share with you here today, no. God, no. These are ones that, try as I might, I have a really hard time coming up with positive things to say about them. So today, we're being negative. 10 fragrances that make me wish I couldn't even smell. And coming from me, I mean, that's saying something, because I have an absurdly stupid amount of fragrances I've collected over the years, including these 10 that I wish I had. Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope you're well. If you want to punish yourself, if you're just a glutton for punishment, maybe you're feeling a little masochistic, feel free to check out the fragrances that I talk about here today, linked in the description. And if you want to love yourself, you can use these codes right here to save yourself money across a bunch of different websites. Show yourself love, not hate. I'm looking down here at these fragrances, I'm like, ugh. All right, let's get started. Yope. Yay. One thing Yope does have going for it, if we want to be positive right now, is power. It has a lot of that. It's strong, apocalyptically strong sometimes. It smells like condensed, weaponized cough syrup turned into a fragrance. And if I'm honest, I have tried over the years to come around to really appreciating this one. I've worn it and I've tried sometimes to convince myself like, oh, on skin, it's not that bad. It's actually a lot better off skin. I'm glad I'm trying it out. And then afterwards I realized, I still hate it. Yeah. Now I will give it props. This has inspired other fragrances. So a little more positivity there. Original Santal, Mom Luck Individuelle. They smell a little bit similar to this one. But I just think it smells bad. Yeah, I do. And I understand a lot of people out there might view this as a classic, modern masterpiece, possibly even. But I really hope that the people who back in the day would spray this one on 52 times and go out there and try to get attention, which trust me, you were getting attention one way or the other with that amount of sprays with this thing. But I'm hoping that those people have come around to trying and wearing other things and have just let this one become a nostalgic little memory, because we don't need Yope at this point. This one, no sir, no please God, no. Now Yope does have some pretty good fragrances actually. They've got some nice ones out there. It's just the original one right here. I can do with that. All right, next up, S-Boy. S-Boy, yeah, oh. Hype beast this one, isn't it? Yeah, big hype beast. S-Boy. Retails for $250. Yeah, 250. Don't worry, you can get like 30 bucks off or something. There's a lot of codes out there. So 220, what a deal. Now, this was sent to me by the company, so putting that out there. And actually the guy behind it, who is not Soulja Boy, the guy behind the brand, like Soulja Boy's the face or whatever, but I guess we call him the CEO, right? CEO, man in charge. He hit me up, sent this to me, and we talked a little bit back and forth. And I let him know what I'm gonna let you guys know. To me, this smells like it should be 40 bucks, 40, 50 bucks at a discounter. I'm not trying to be an a-hole here. It's just that's the first thing I thought of when I smelled it. And like I said, I let him know. I was like, ugh. And at 40, 50 bucks at a discounter, I'm not saying that you would smell it and be like, what a deal, only 50 bucks, wow. I'm saying you would smell it and be like, yeah, I guess that's about right, 40, 50. Kind of one of those deals, All I'm saying is it wouldn't be, to me anyway, like one of those fragrances I pick up at that price point and go. The fragrance itself is fruity, sweet, a little tropical, touch powdery. You've got a lot of different fruit notes in there. You've got vanilla, musk, some florals as well. And it smells like a clean, sweet, fresh fragrance. It does, it's wearable, it's versatile. But there is a marked difference when you smell that in terms of like the perceived quality and the price. It's there, okay? So to me, this is one of those ones where if I went in blind and you handed this to me, I would not smell that and be like, Oh God, what is that? Is that a really high-end? That smells like a high-end niche. So you combine that with the amount of hype behind this thing, and it just becomes one of those deals where you're like, why? And when I relayed that to the brand, they actually told me in writing that this is the most popular niche fragrance for men in the world, and that it crushes Creed's Aventus in terms of sales. That this one blows Aventus out of the water. Legitimately, like, okay. Which, you know, I've not seen the S-Boy sales numbers, to be fair. I didn't see them in the top 40 best-selling men's niche fragrances list that I had gotten, but who knows? And that's not all. There were other things as well where I was just like, I don't know, guys, come on. And to me, it just comes across as like another Soulja Boy kind of grift. If you search up Soulja Boy and some of the things he's been involved with in terms of like other business things, a lot of those have been iffy. So yeah, that one, it just strikes me in a really negative way. Now we got a Fragrance World, and I gotta say, Fragrance World has some sick clones. They have some fantastic clones, okay? Some really, really top-notch ones. And they make a lot of stuff that I really enjoy, which is cloning discontinued fragrances in a very, very well done way. All that being said, this one is awful. This is number 4, After Love, Eau de Parfum. And this is a clone of Thomas Cosmala. It doesn't matter because you shouldn't buy this. Was it La Prix La Voix, I think? But yeah, it's just rough. So the Thomas Cosmala is a Baccarat Rouge 540 type of fragrance. It's one of those niche fragrances that is emulating Baccarat Rouge 540, which, if I'm honest with you, Baccarat Rouge 540 has played out to me. I have smelled it too many times, and I'm over it. And this is really like alcohol forward. So yeah, you get that BR 540-esque vibe, you know, that cotton candy sort of saffron and amber woods and everything, but this is done in a way that when you first spray it on, it just smells like straight up rubbing alcohol. Like rubbing alcohol with undertones of BR 540. And it is aggressively alcoholic. It smells inexpensive. It just smells bad. And with how many BR 540 fragrance types there are out there, if you're looking even on the cheap end, there are a lot of them that are much better done than this. There's no reason to get it. That's all I'm saying. But if you do want one of the worst smelling BR 540 alternatives out there you go. CK Free, which is both the name of the flanker and also how much it should cost you to pick this up. Now I know some people out there like CK Free, and it is actually really cheap. It's pretty close to free. The problem with this is the performance, it doesn't exist. It is water. This is eternally weak. You can blast yourself with about 75 sprays of that, and for a couple milliseconds there, you'll be like, oh, that's pretty nice. It's like a little calming kind of citrus thing. That's not too bad. And then approximately 5 seconds later, you'll go, where'd it go? I think I went nose blind to it because I sprayed so many sprays. I'll go ask somebody else, how do you like my fragrance? And they'll be like, what fragrance? Is this a trick? You joking with me? It's pathetically weak. As I said though, it does have kind of a calming scent profile to it. So, you know, if you want to pick it up on the cheap and maybe blast yourself before bed, you could do that. But outside of that use, there is no use to this. Oh God, I hate this one. Azzaro Chrome Under the Pole. I don't know that you can really see it because this liquid on the inside clings to the sides of the bottle, but the level is like right here. And when I move it, it's like, it's just a thick, like, almost looks like yogurt or something the way it moves, or like half rotted milk. Ugh. So this is one of those fragrances that is alcohol free. So they use a, different carrying agent in here. And the fragrance, for whatever reason, they thought it would be a good idea to make it basically look like milk. Yeah, we'll go with milk. It looks like a creamy white consistency. But like I said, we'll go with milk. And so when you, oh God. I don't know if that came across, but it doesn't really atomize. Let me see if you can see this. Look at that. So when you spray this on, you get like little white globules on your skin or on your tester strip. And it's kind of gross. And what it smells like is basically the original Chrome, only weaker, way weaker. And it kind of just like sticks to your skin and you almost have to like rub it in like lotion or something. I hate this. I hate this. It's a gimmick. They basically went like, hey, it's alcohol free. That's good for your skin, right? And you go, okay, but it's a fragrance, so how's the fragrance part of it work? Well, it's like the original Chrome. It smells similar to that, but if you made it smell cheaper and also gave it piss poor longevity and made it look like somebody did the business onto your skin wherever you sprayed it, so you gotta rub it in. Now that's pretty cool, right? And also it costs more than the original, so that's cool. I hate it. I hate it with every fiber of my being. Ugh, it keeps sticking to my nose. It's like it gets close and this stuff is like magnetically making it stick to my nose. I hate it. Let's go niche. Wall Street, bond number 9. Gotta say guys, Wall Street has just never worked for me. I was actually pretty pumped to get this many years ago and had some negative reviews online. And I remember thinking to myself at the time, like, nah, I'm sure it'll be pretty good. I'm sure it'll be nice. It's headache inducing. Now it is fairly unique, so I can give it that prop. They definitely took a chance. That's worth something. Some people have compared it to the smell of Millesime Imperial from Creed. To that I say, I like a little of what you're smoking. I could use it. So the issue with this one is it's got kind of a weird funk to it. It's got cucumber and seaweed and citrus almost in equal parts when you first spray this one on. Then it's also got lavender in there and pistachio and ambergris. I guess these notes are supposed to smell like money? I don't know. There are some green notes there, the seaweed, cucumber, and pistachio. US dollars are green, I don't know. But it just ends up where these notes, at least off my skin, kind of fight with each other. So you get like some of the sweetness from the citrus, but then you get that salty, kind of funky, briny tinge from the seaweed, and then you get that watery green cucumber, and they just kind of all like get blended together. And instead of smelling fresh and uplifting, you get something that just has a weird wang to it. To me, it's just not wearable, because if you have that on in a really strong way, it's projecting heavily, people are gonna pick that up and just be like, God, what is wrong with that dude? What is that? That doesn't smell natural, that smells weird. Next one is just a big old disappointment. Bizarre from Christian Lacroix. Or is it Lacroix? Christian Lacroix. So here's the deal with this one. It came out in 2002, and you can still easily find that on the cheap. Like, they're gonna have bottles of this still for sale for 20 bucks in the year 2050 because nobody buys it. Now, this brand does have a fragrance that's actually really, really nice that I like a lot called Tumult. And that one comes in a really pretty bottle. I actually have 2 bottles of this stuff. It's like a purple bottle, looks like this over here. And that one smells a bit like Comme des Garçons Kyoto, and it used to be really affordable, and that was an absolute hidden gem steal when you could get it for cheap. So, I was like, well, I really love that one. So what if this one is actually pretty good too? Same brand, also cheap, doesn't get talked about, might be a little hidden gem. This was my thought process many years ago. So I bought it, got it in, opened it up, very excited, and went, ugh. It's not that it is offensively awful. It's just, this is like the picture of mediocrity. If you imagine something late 90s, early 2000s, just a generic kind of sporty casual fragrance, a really cheap smelling citrus, lavender, extremely cheap smelling woods. That's what this is. It has like a little sickening sweetness to it, not in the way of it coming across bubblegummy, just in the way that like you smell it and you're like, ugh, what is that? It's just like very chemically. So this one is just an absolute disappointment. There's no reason to pick it up. Even for like 20 bucks, I could point you to like 10 dozen things better than this. And the reason I hate this so much is because, like I said, just such a letdown. Because that other release, Tumult, that stuff is good. Or at least for the price it used to go for. Nowadays it's kind of expensive, but that stuff, nice. This crap. The Duckers, Mandarin Duck Resort Lovers. This is so stupid. This came out in 2020. It was a set of 3. It was Freedom Land, this one Resort Lovers, and then I think the other one's called Into the Jungle. This was like peak COVID 2020, and Into the Jungle had like a big cat on the sticker on the front, so it was like Tiger King, Tiger King. But honestly, they pretty much all suck. The Duckers releases are not really very good. You can still find them for pretty cheap, I think like 30, 35 bucks, but they're not worth buying. This is the worst of the bunch, I will say, at least for me. Freedom Land is really sweet, kind of fruity, sugary. Into the Jungle is better than this one at least, so I mean, there is that. This felt kind of like a goofy line to begin with though, because it's called the Duckers, which sounds like a joke on the level of Meet the Fockers. You know, it's like, the Duckers, get it? Like, go duck yourself. Or at least that's how I read it, I don't know. And they just come across like just kind of slapped together a little bit, kind of cheap, because they have this bottle style, right? And they just throw a little sticker on the front. I mean, that's what this is. It's just a sticker that looks like it's kind of off kilter. So, great. And this one just smells aldehydic, powdery, sweet, kind of off-putting a little bit. It definitely leans feminine, so there is that. I mean, I would never wear this one. And Mandarin Duck in general does come across kind of cheap. I mean, it's an inexpensive fragrance brand by and large, especially if we're talking about discounters. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, because they do have some fragrances that actually smell really good for that price point. So this is not one of those circumstances where I'm going, oh, it smells cheap, therefore it sucks. That's not what I'm saying. They have cheap fragrances that smell great. And there are cheap fragrances out there that smell kind of cheap that still smell great. This smells cheap and it doesn't smell good. It's just one of those deals. So I'm not bashing on it just because I'm saying it's real cheap. So no, thank you, go duck yourself. From there, Zerzhov Torino 23. This is another big old disappointment for me. Now, I like Torino 21 a bunch. And Torino 21, I think, pulls off what a Torino fragrance should smell like. To me, anyway, in my mind. Torino 21 gets across the feeling of energy. It's very fresh, very enlivening. It's got this great brisk opening, smells fantastic, high quality mint, citrus, easy to wear, perfect for spring and summer. It makes sense, and it smells great, and it gets compliments, and it smells like you get what you pay for. Torino 23 to me is confusing, because I would again expect these Torino fragrances to smell very fresh, very energetic, very enlivening. This has like a throwback, kind of like mothball-y, kind of old school, soapy feel to it. Strong floral notes, almost aggressively overpowering on the nose, on the palate. So when you smell it, it's just like, to me, it leans feminine and almost old lady feminine. Shout out to all the old ladies out there. And I have had multiple people smell this thing because I'm like, I feel like this is definitely not just me, but I need to check. And most people hate the way this thing smells. Such a difference. Torino 21, like 95 people out of 100 are gonna be like, that smells great. This one, everyone that I've had smell it has disliked it. And some of them actively are repulsed. I know there's gonna be some people out there who are like, no, you just don't get it. It's got this classic style to it. It's fantastic, it's this, it's that. It doesn't work for me. And last, we've got Venetian Gold from our moth. I kind of broke this piece, you see. Yeah, there we go, try to fix that. Because I put the cap on the first time I put the cap back on, I sat it like this, and I put my hand here and I pressed down to click the cap. And when I did, it went and just snapped that down. So, yay. This is another one of those deals where it just doesn't work for me. There's gonna be some people out there who say, no, this is fantastic, but this is a lot of things I don't dig in fragrances. It smells similar to Herba Pura. I'm not a fan of Herba Pura. Now, you can do that DNA in like maybe a different style, a twist, and sometimes it'll work for me okay and I'll like it, but most of the ones that I've smelled just don't do it for me. Like that really sugary, tropical kind of ladies fragrance. I mean, that's kind of how it comes across. It just, you know, when I wear it, it gives me a freaking headache. It like splits my head open. And this has that going on. As soon as you spray it on, it's like, oh, wonderful, great. And at the time that I had purchased this, I actually didn't know anything about it. I basically was just doing one of those things where I add stuff from different brands, Armaf, Lattafa, whoever, you know, stuff that I don't own because they're pretty affordable, and I can see which ones are good and which ones I don't like. I didn't like this one. So yeah, very feminine leaning, very tropical, fruity, Herba Pura style with a good amount of like a fuzzy cashmere as it dries down. Just not my thing. But if you do like Herba Pura, you'll probably like this. Or fragrances in that style, you know, Kirke, stuff like that. So there we go. There's some fragrances that just, if I were telling you, I would say avoid these. With maybe just this one on the end being, hey, if you like I said, Herba Pura, you can check it out. But for these other ones, There we go, guys. Thank you for hanging with me. Stay safe with that. Thank you very much. See you later.